The service to self-polarity. 1. See polarity without turning it into judgment. Service to others and service to self are like the two poles of a magnet, not simply good and evil. When you label one side as bad, you get trapped in judgment and lose clarity. It is far more useful to think in terms of positive and negative, as in magnetism, which lets you examine both paths without emotional charge. In a unified universe, every being contains both polarities within. You carry the whole spectrum of creation inside you. Seeing this helps you explore these dynamics honestly, instead of hiding from your own shadow. 2. The negative path is built on control. The core of the service to self path is control. The self seeks power over both its own impulses and other people, not for harmony, but for advantage. The guiding word is mine. Ideas, possessions, people, even beliefs become things to own and manipulate. The heart stays closed because unity is not recognized as real. Instead of seeing neighbors as equal selves, others are viewed as tools, victims, or allies. This is why this path is called the path of that which is not. It is built on the illusion that one can stand against the rest of the world and still be whole. 3. Let your reactions become mirrors. When you feel disgust, anger, or harsh judgment toward controlling people or systems, you are being handed a mirror. The same tendencies exist somewhere inside you, even if in smaller or subtler form. The most productive response is not to fix the other person, but to sit with the reaction and ask where that same seed lives within your own nature. In a unitary creation, nothing that shows up in your field is completely foreign to you. Using others as mirrors turns outrage into self-knowledge and becomes a powerful way to grow in awareness. 4. Depersonalization fuels harm. On the service to self path, people are not seen as souls. They are resources, obstacles, or fodder. The bully on the playground who steals lunch money, the aggressive driver who will not stop at a sign because he can slip through, the official who treats soldiers as expendable units rather than human lives, all share this mindset. The same pattern appears in religious movements that torture or ostracize for right belief, and in armies where pawns are sent to die for ideology, and in corporations that sacrifice workers and communities for profit. The common thread is dehumanization, the loss of real personhood in favor of goals, systems, and gain. 5. Beware of holy-sounding control. Whenever a belief system demands absolute obedience and treats outsiders as enemies or inferiors, service to self-logic is at work, even if the language is holy. Inquisitions, forced conversions, or movements that long for apocalyptic battles reveal a mindset where my doctrine matters more than living beings. The same thing happens when preachers dictate political choices as a test of faith. What began as devotion can be hijacked by control, turning spiritual language into a tool for dominance rather than a path to love. 6. Power structures can mask harm. Hierarchical institutions often embody service to self-dynamics in polished form. In armies and security forces, credit and blame move upward while lives are treated as expendable in pursuit of political or economic aims. Corporations that fire older workers to avoid pensions or hire only part-time staff to deny benefits follow the same pattern. People become cost units instead of whole human beings. Even assassinations or brutal collections can be justified as just business. The outer form looks professional, but the underlying energy remains, we win, they are used. 7. Power aligns across systems. The darkest expressions of service to self arise when military, religious, and corporate interests converge. Governments may act as enforcers for corporate agendas, as seen in historical examples where entire nations were reshaped to secure profit for a few. Religious language can sanctify aggressive policies. Economic interests can quietly steer foreign interventions. In such cases, entire populations are treated as objects within a larger game of advantage. Recognizing this pattern helps you see how deep the polarity of control can reach into world events. 8. Everyday moments. Expose true alignment. Service to self is not only found in dramatic abuses of power, it appears in small choices, such as cutting into a traffic lane at the last moment because you are late, or keeping the larger half of a sandwich for yourself, or quietly taking someone's more comfortable chair instead of asking. These moments may feel minor, yet they express the basic stance of me first. When you notice them, you gain the chance to shift toward asking instead of grabbing, honoring instead of assuming, and treating others as genuine equals in real time. 9. Parental control is a necessary starting point. At the beginning of life, control over another is necessary. Parents must exercise strong authority to protect and guide a helpless baby. Society often extends this assumption of control well into adolescence and beyond. The problem comes when this pattern never matures, and parents continue to manipulate adult children for their own good, ignoring their sovereignty. Recognizing where rightful care ends and ongoing control begins is part of learning to distinguish healthy guidance from service to self-behavior in intimate relationships. 10. Work on yourself rather than fighting control. Reacting to service to self-behavior with anger and resistance only feeds the lower game of conflict and judgment. The most powerful response is internal. Notice where you are tempted to dominate, to take, or to depersonalize, and use that awareness to refine your own polarity. A true player on the service to others path does not waste energy trying to fix all controlling people or systems. The real work is to make cleaner, kinder choices inside your own sphere while staying aware of how polarity operates in the world around you. 11. Remember that everyone begins in service to self. Every human starts life focused entirely on personal needs. The infant cries until fed and comforted. The journey towards service to others begins slowly, perhaps with something as simple as learning to share toys. From there, life becomes an ongoing balancing act between self-interest and care for others. Most situations are not pure black or white, but layered with nuance. The task is not to become perfect, but to become conscious, choosing more often to honor the unity beneath appearances, while understanding clearly how the path of separation operates, both out in the world and quietly inside your own heart.